welcome to this week's episode of Superhost Down Under. We have Emma joining us. Welcome to the show, Emma.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Welcome, Emma.
Thanks, Silvia.
And before we get into your story, we're going to cover our weekly topic. Silvia, what is our weekly topic this week?
Okay. Guests who don't give feedback during their stay, especially when a host will write to the guest and say, are you happy with everything? Are you enjoying your stay? And they either don't respond or they say that everything's fine. And then the review comes through and they've got all these dissatisfactions. So I'm sure we've all experienced it as hosts. Maybe you haven't, Emma, because you've got, 5 stars over 25 reviews?
Beginner's luck.
We'll delve into that later, but that's quite a record.
Yes. So I have this is one of my pet peeves, and I don't know how to solve it. And I've tried so many things. Well, with guests who aren't vocal or communicative. And I think there's like one thing to have guests proactively ask for things, but when I actively ask guests the day after they check in, how was your first night? If there's anything you need to make sure you have a good 5-star experience, please feel free to tell me and we will do our best. No responses. They check out 4 stars. This was dirty. We wanted extra towels. There weren't any. Like, we can't give you the towels if you don't ask for the towels. But the cleaning one, definitely, like, it's really good to know, and we will rectify it. But it's a lost opportunity to have someone be more comfortable during their 4 or 5 night stay. If there was something missed during cleaning, we can send our cleaners there, like, unless they're there all day and they need the unit all the time. So it's a struggle on like how to do this. And so, for example, with the towels, like not everyone's going to read the message, because we know from even verifying people confirming that they know it's a shared home when it is a shared home, not everyone reads any messages after they're checked in. And then so I've decided with towels, we're going to put an extra set of towels in the laundry closet. So when you go looking for it, you'll find it. But I'm not going to put extra towels on the bed, because then if you don't use them, I need to clean them anyway, because I don't know what happened to them. But if they're like they're in the laundry closet and they stay folded, then at least like it can be there as a backup for the next guest. So I'm not like doubling up on my laundry. But it's really difficult. It's one that hurts because it hurts my review and we're a small business. But I'm not going to call my guests and ask them to make sure they're happy on their second day. And I've already sent a message, so I don't know what else I can do. What are your thoughts? Emma, you go first.
I think we've been lucky because we're still in the early days, right? So I could also imagine from a guest perspective, the more 5-star reviews you have, then it's almost overpromise. It's not even really under delivering, because you are delivering, but I don't know if people are just getting this big sense of what they should get. It's unrealistic almost. We pull on the heartstrings a little bit in our messaging and just say, like, we're a young family. This is really new to us. So please, like, communicate anything that you notice, and we're really keen to have a really good experience for you, which helped early on. But I think a lot of that was just because we were new. So those first probably 10 guests really took that on board. It's like they were on our side and they were really, banding with us.
Supportive.
And giving us information. Yeah, they're really supportive. But I can already feel like the further down we go, even though with that same messaging, it's not as effective. So I'm probably going to have to try to tweak it somehow. It's almost like they see, oh, you've got this many reviews anyway, so does it matter that I communicate to you? So less accountability almost, I'm finding.
How about you, Silvia?
I think people don't like confrontation, so they don't want to say this is wrong or that's wrong, and they believe that the way to do it is via a review, just because we're so review driven these days. not realising the impact that a negative review can have. So I think that's mainly what's happening. Again, being a shared home, for me it's a bit easier because when I do my check-in and my little tour at the start, one of the last things I say to them is, I really want you to be comfortable. So if there's something you're not happy about, please let me know. So that I found has worked really well. But again, I'm looking at them face to face. They see my sincerity. I see them throughout the stay, and they will ask me questions throughout the stay. It's easy for them because I'm there, and you know, they're very delicate about about any of their complaints. One of the most common one for me is the noise, because there is traffic noise. I live in close to the CBD, and so there is traffic noise. So that's usually what they tell me. Oh, you know, the noise started very early this morning, you know, the traffic noise. That's usually what I get. But I do supply earplugs, and I'm finding that more and more people travel with their own eye masks and earplugs. So everyone's getting used to that sort of thing. But yeah, that's the only feedback I get. But as I say, I think it's easier for me than if you had to contact someone either via messaging or phone to complain about something.
Yes. The saga continues. Yes. So, Emma, welcome to our show. What got you into Airbnb hosting? And tell us a little bit about the property that you put on Airbnb.
Sure. So, my husband has been traveling to Trinity Beach, where our Airbnb is, for most of his young life. And then when we started dating, I came along too. He has
Hmm.
family in the area, and we've always really loved it.
So
Uh,
that's
we
far north Queensland?
Correct, far north Queensland. So about 20 to 30 minutes from Cairns itself, the northern beaches. Really beautiful part of the world. For a long time, we contemplated moving there. I think we decided to wait until we had children. And now that we do have children, we think we need to be closer to our family. So we should have probably done it earlier. But alas, the Airbnb sort of idea was to have the best of both worlds. So we could go up when we wanted to, have a space that was our own. So it kind of felt like we have this little base there, but still can live in Melbourne. So that's what got us, I guess, into it. And then Airbnb, I've traveled a lot as a guest. So through Victoria and Australia, but also overseas. I remember Airbnb starting and sort of jumping on board, and it's just a great platform from both ends, I feel. So, yeah, that's how we started.
Yeah. And your property is a lovely two-bedroom townhouse. And what was the vision for the space and how you would position this as a Airbnb property?
So, up there, it's a real traditional look, I feel like. A lot of resorts, a lot of sort of beach views, everything sort of made to be very coastal, like light blues, white, beige, tiles, a lot of tiles.
Mm.
I'm very anti-tile, just as
Me
a
too.
standard
It's
note.
uncomfortable. It's hard and it's cold.
Yeah, and look, it's
Difficult to get.
practical up there, right? Like it's
Yeah.
hot,
It's cool.
I
Yeah.
get it. But from Melbourne, it's like, no, I need hardwood floors. So that was a lot of the reason why we bought the property, because it came with that already. And then because we're not necessarily right on that esplanade with the beach view, so instead of drawing from that, and just because so many properties were that way, we thought more like, let's think about the Daintree and the rainforest. So get the
Mm.
warm colors and the greens and that sort of style in terms of appearance. And then in terms of offering, traveling with a family in particular, you know how the amount of things you have to bring is outrageous, especially having been, you know, a single person traveling with a backpack once upon a time, and now it's 2 20-kilo bags and all the things you need. So I did want to make a space that if families did come, they wouldn't have to worry about all those things. So there's a cot, there'll be a booster chair, there's toys, there's bibs, there's all the little bits and pieces. So you don't have to lug everything from wherever you're traveling
Mm.
from.
And what's it like with Airbnb market in that area? Like, who are your competitors? Like, how competitive was it when you were considering this?
It's really competitive. I think we're a little bit, no, we weren't naive. We knew it was going to be competitive. So
Hmm.
Matt's family does have, um, so his aunt and uncle run or manage a resort there. And his cousin also has an Airbnb in Palm Cove, so quite close by. So we had a little bit of an insider idea of how it could work in the area. Still very competitive. I'm honestly surprised with how well it's gone. Even we're in quieter season now, so I knew from the beginning it would be quite busy because peak time, there's lots of people traveling from everywhere. But, right now it's wet and rainy. It's actually a tropical low at the moment, so cyclone may or may not be on the way. But even with that time of year, we still had people come. So I'm not sure. Like, we've really focused on our offering and trying to stand out a little bit. The property's a little bit different to a standard apartment, so I don't know if it's just more look and feel, but yeah,
It's just vibes.
yeah. I'm like, that's a bit of my energy. The vibe's good. Hopefully that will get us over the line.
It's just
But yeah,
vibes sometimes.
yeah.
And managing it remotely, what are some of the things you put in place? You mentioned that you had family that lives out there and help you set it up, but operationally, once you're live, what does it look like?
So we have our cleaner. So we really rely on a great cleaner that goes in, does thorough checks, takes photos of everything. I got a lot of those tips from you guys actually. So when I was setting this up,
What?
I was listening to the podcast. Yeah, smart lock Ray. I listened to all the smart
Oh,
lock info, all the tech.
blushing. I'm
So
blushing.
yeah, genuinely. That's why I was like, I'm so excited. This was a big guide in setting things up and just getting
Oh.
a feel of what it would be like on the other side, like so not just as a guest. So anyway, now I've lost track from the side of that. But yeah, the
Me too.
cleaner, our cleaner is fantastic. She's wonderful, and we actually haven't relied too much on family yet. I was really eager to try to have other systems in place because they're busy and life happens. So we've been lucky so far that those are working well. And then yeah, having the things like the smart lock, so setting the codes up for each guest and things like that have been great. Um, I use the last four digits of their mobile number. I'm
You
not joking. Like
listened.
I really do listen. I set this up May last year. So yeah, all those early episodes really got me through. And we were also there for the setup. So we went up there for a month and just
Did you
living
have
in
to
it really helped.
renovate? Did you have to renovate?
A bit of renovation. So just, I say small, it was probably like a week worth of renovation. So my husband, myself, my mum and my two kids all went up. We arrived to an empty house with mattresses and everything ready to go. So it was a lot. It was a really busy week and then a busy month. So my husband flew home, it was just me and the kids. And that was a lot of setting up everything, just like even getting like all the paper towels, all the like we have like the single milk to have in the fridge each time. And I'm pretty pedantic, so I took photos of like how I wanted everything to be set. So how I wanted the sink area to be set and what supplies would be there. Because my big thing too was that I wanted everything pretty much, even all the cleaning products. I don't expect people to clean, but if you stay somewhere for longer than 3 days and you're a clean
Mm.
person,
You
you
need
know
some
what I mean?
products. Yeah.
Yeah, you need some products or
Yeah.
even just a little vacuum or like, so we have all those things in place. And I think that's been surprising to people. I really channeled like a beach stay in Victoria, but like one of those old homes that is just like
Mm.
you're going to someone's home. It doesn't feel particularly clean, but they have everything. So I wanted like the clean resort version, but with all of the stuff you could think of. But yeah, setting up in a regional area was definitely a challenge coming from Melbourne where everything arrives the next day or a week. Things don't arrive quickly.
Well, I have a
So,
tip there is, plug and, if they're listening, they should like
yeah.
give me an affiliate code. I've
Hmm.
ordered 4 sleeping duck mattresses, and the reason why I order sleeping duck mattresses is because they have a tight window of delivery. I think it's like maybe 4 hours, but it's not 8, and you can schedule it like with when you pay for it, you can schedule it almost same week or next week. And it just comes in a
Mm.
box that has two wheels on it. So you can just roll it in. And I know that buying furniture is like hellish. When I was renovating my place, they're like, oh, it could be 2, 3 weeks, like a sofa I ordered. There's like, it's gonna be 4 weeks, and I'm like, but a mattress, like I need it now. So unless you're getting one from IKEA and then you have to go get the delivery, I from my computer ordered a sleeping duck, and I like it because it's a hybrid mattress with springs and memory foam, and you can adjust it
Mm.
with a thing, with the different memory foam inserts. It just rolled in. I didn't have to lift it because sometimes you get mattress in a box and then you need two people to
Yeah.
carry it. And
Hmm.
this one probably still, like, it would be safer with two people, but at least it has a wheel, like two wheels, so you can like drag it and it's not just scraping everything. So hopefully Sleeping Ducks offering me some kind of gift for plugging their product, as I love a good
It
affiliation.
sounded legit. I feel like they should.
Yeah, I think so too. But mattress in a box has saved me so much time when I've been furnishing because I don't want to go pick it up. And I don't want to be home for 8 hours, and I don't want to order it weeks in advance.
100% agree.
Yeah. What were some of the other things that were unexpected for you owning an Airbnb in Queensland?
uh, I knew about bugs, but not really. Um,
Like cockroaches and
no, not
spiders?
so much. We had a lot of ants and
Oh,
different kinds of
yeah, yeah,
ants.
yeah. Ants,
So
And
we had,
flies and mosquitoes.
drain flies.
yeah, and more like frogs
Oh,
and
yeah. Geckos?
grasshoppers.
Yeah.
Yeah, so different because like we have
Crickets.
spiders in Victoria. We're not great, like we could have the things, but the amount of ants and how quickly they just come super
Oh, if
fast,
it's
right?
not clean. Yeah.
Yeah, so I have to get pest control regularly just to keep just maintenance to
Mm.
stop.
Hmm.
I think at the very start of our journey, because I was obviously staying there for a month, and every night I would notice these little green ants like up in the roof, just crawling
Mm.
around, maybe like 10 or so, not crazy. And I was like, okay, put it on the list. I'll get it pest controlled when I leave, which I did. But then there was clearly a lot more than 10. There was probably hundreds. So they were
Oh.
just coming out at night and die, like, so just be dead ants everywhere. So I couldn't believe our guests. So I was just honest and I said, we have done pest control. I'm so sorry. Like, these ants are coming out. Like, there was no way for us to know that there were hundreds. This was for 2 weeks. They would come out and then just be everywhere. And they were all incredible. They're like, yeah, that's fine. There's a vacuum here. We'll vacuum them up. We understand. And they're not locals. They're from all different parts of the world. So I feel like things like that, like we've had wasps that blocked our air conditioning, so it
Oh,
started like
wow.
flooding.
Mm.
Yeah, like they really get into things in a way that's very different to here.
That's so wild.
Yeah,
The
it
guests,
does.
the guests in Sydney aren't so understanding when it comes to cockroaches.
I
Because,
have heard you talk about that, and I find it so
yeah.
funny. The cockroach
Well,
feels
do you
so
know,
fine.
I talk about it because so many of my friends who host in Sydney have had guests cancelling, writing in reviews about cockroaches. They freak out. Like it's just continual. And
Mm,
I'm like, the it's such a part of Sydney. We cannot control it to that extent. But yeah, I'm
100%.
surprised that yours was so understanding on the ants.
Yeah, ants and yeah, frogs always hopping around outside, which I'm really scared of them. So maybe that's why I'm a bit triggered by it. Maybe people think it's cute, but there's just so much wildlife around. So yeah, funny about the cockroaches that they're so bothered to the point of cancelling and things like that. It's
Oh,
really,
plenty of cancellations over cockroaches. Um,
yeah.
eh, yeah. Um, I I don't know. Maybe because ants are smaller, or maybe
Mm,
because travellers expect insects in far north Queensland, whereas they don't in Sydney. I'm not sure what it
true.
is.
That's true, actually, because yeah, that's not something I would have known originally, like Sydney, but I don't go to Sydney very often, so I didn't know about cockroaches. So maybe they're expecting, you know, tropical climate. But even then, I don't know. We'll see. I feel like we're still in the early days. I'm sure there'll be someone that will cancel because they see. a bug or something like
It's probably the personal touches that give you the higher reviews and like the good communication. What personal touches have you put into this property, or like what do you attribute the positive experience for your guests?
that. I think a lot of what we've sort of heard in the reviews and just through messaging with guests, it's what they expect. Like the
Mm.
images of the property are nice, but I think when you walk in, it really aligns with what those images are. So you are getting what you expect, I think is a big one for people. And I think the styling a little bit differently because that's also something I don't think it's like styled crazy. There's a lot more I want to do when I get a bit more money. But even now, yeah, people have really enjoyed the styling of it, which has been really nice. And that's something I really care about too. So that's been lovely. And I think having all those extra things, because a lot of places up there too will have, so if it's to sit for people, then they'll have like 6 plates and 6 forks, and so they can keep track of everything, which I understand. Where we just have everything stocked to the brim. I was like, if you break glass or break a plate, it's fine. Like, I don't need to track anything like that.
For
So,
now.
true. Get me back on it in a year and I might be penny pitching like, no, they broke
Well,
another plate. I'm so upset.
well, I stayed at an Airbnb and I'm friends with the host, so I'm not gonna mention them. But I remember I slept in the room. It was a shared Airbnb, and this bed was amazing, and also it had this beautiful throw. And then I mentioned it at breakfast. I was like, "Oh, that throw is beautiful," and they're like, "Oh, that throw is $3,000." I was like, "You should not leave that throw on the
No.
bed. That throw
Oh,
is more expensive than my mattress. Like you should put that one away." But also it had like it was just so the little touches, like I talk about it a lot, is like when you're doing this at scale, like I have multiple at one point, like maybe up to like three, is every clean has to be systematic. And if you have like trinkets and additional steps, like a new bar of soap for each guest, that's one more thing you have to do. Or like they had like perfumes and colognes that you could use. I'm like, oh, like that's a lot. Um and then with like expensive pieces, like you're not gonna insure this expensive throw and like these really expensive linens that are like organic linens, and then they're just gonna tear, or if it stains, it's gonna be difficult to maintain, and you need like more robust products because it's gonna go through a lot uh more
wear and tear.
visitors. Yeah, wear and tear just from all the guests turning over. Similar to the flooring, like you're gonna have suitcases being dragged back and forth that you wouldn't do if you were living there by yourself. And so like
And
no
100%.
cork
marks on the
flooring,
wall.
marks on the wall. Never paint your walls matte. Like just get some resin in there, eggshell, satin. I used to be a
Yes.
painter. But it's those little things that you're like, if you don't, I think one of the things I'm grateful I didn't do was there's these beautiful Danish hooks that are like in the shape of a water drop that you mount. And so they're these floating water drops you can hang your jacket on. And my builder's like, someone's gonna put their bag on it, it's gonna rip a hole in your wall. And I'm like, yeah, let's not do that. Let's get an IKEA one that has like a big reinforcement and they won't rip your drywall out of your wall because there's no studs there. And so it's thinking through that, I think that really important.
Oh yeah, everything durable, everything
Durable.
wipeable as well, because
Mm.
if you want to appeal to families, like I have 2 young kids that obviously will rip through the place, and I always joke them like, I think we're the nightmare guests. Just like they see them touching everything, and I was like, I'll clean it all before I leave. But the
Mm.
walls, yeah, like we have white walls, and when we first moved in, it was a bit DIY with how it was originally renovated. So a lot of what
Mm.
we did was, it doesn't look very different. It was just fixing it, fixing the paint jobs.
Yeah.
Even just like doors and skirting boards. Like I'm not huge on a big high gloss, but like semi-gloss, it needs to be wipeable because they were matte. So
Semi-gloss, wow.
yeah, you're like, what? You're like, you're not a fan. I know, but like wipe, this was matte.
Oh,
So
you
this was
can
matte
wash it. You can like
originally.
scrub the wall when it's semi-gloss, like it's kitchen bathroom standard. Like if you,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, the ceilings up there, it's really common to have it in a bit more of a gloss because like here in Melbourne,
anti-mold. It also
matte.
protects against mold.
Yeah, that was
And
the
there's
big
mold
thing.
season.
Yes, and I don't know much about mold, so I learnt a lot about that too.
Oh,
Because
I
that's a
learned
big
there's
thing
mold
up there.
season. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
mold season, and there's a company. They should also like be an affiliate, like Mold Men. They like drive around and they come around and they kill the mold. They're called,
Oh,
it's the
okay. I need to put that
leading
on my list.
mold removalist in Queensland that I know of, the Mold Men. And I've used them in multiple properties. They come and they clean the AC units, like get rid of the mold that
Mm.
grows in there. I had mold grow on my refrigerator. Like I'm like, isn't it? And it's
Mm.
metal. Like I'm like, how does it grow on? But you know, if it's not clean, something's on it, grows mold, and then at least they have some products that they sell, some natural ones, some non-natural ones that slow down the regrowth of mold.
Yes, yeah,
But
that's
yeah,
a
I didn't know
definitely
there was a
something to know.
season, but there's a season for mold in Queensland.
Yeah. It's like honestly kind of like a different world. Especially when you're in Melbourne so far away and you're freezing and they're talking about heat and all these other things. You're like, oh, very different. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's
What are some of
tropical.
the what are besides the amazing smart locks? What are the other tools that have helped you with long distance hosting?
So being up there and establishing those relationships. So with our cleaner, we have an air conditioned maintenance guy. So that's probably been the issue. And that's kind of one of the things where if you don't have aircon, like people need to leave. There's not really any
Mm.
time of year where it's okay to not have the air conditioning running. So we have those key maintenance people there just as a sort of safeguard for anything that happens. A lot of our messaging is automated and it's also just key. And the automation, particularly now because of daylight savings time, so the times are
Mhm.
different.
Mhm.
So that always really throws me. So if I was messaging, even setting my the smart lock code like timings when they start and end,
Mm.
so it's all set to their local time. So yeah, having that all automated just means I can't make the human error of getting
Mhm.
that wrong. Aside from that, I think being there for that initial month and sort of setting a good foundation is what's made it run so smoothly. So a lot of the
Mhm.
stuff is already there. If I need to top anything up, my cleaner tells me, and then I just get it delivered to her, and then she
Mhm.
takes it to the place. So we kind of have a system now that's been rolling. Even we had a cleaning checklist initially, again from you guys. So I wrote the checklist and the what to top up and the photos and everything, and she runs through that. And now it's just kind of this automated system that we have between us. But
Well, I'm
they're the
not
kind
sure
of
if I
things
ever mentioned we've done like so many episodes now. This is episode 52. Is that I when I ran an Airbnb in Queensland, because of the humidity and I don't have control whether or not my like I don't want to go into my guest's room and like turn on their AC or like if I'm away from home. I bought these little gadgets called Sensibo, and they replicate this remote control signal of your AC unit. And you can stick them on the wall and plug them into the wall, and they have a little detector on them for humidity and temperature. So when the humidity would get too high, because there's like a certain humidity that mold starts growing, I think it's like 65%, I
mm,
got it to send a signal to the AC unit to turn on the dry cycle until the humidity would drop. And therefore, like, if you're
mm,
fighting mold and, like, say you don't have a guest stay there for like 3 days, you don't want the humidity to build up in your home and you're not going to leave the fans and the windows open. So, my way of rectifying this was like, I'm just going to have these little gadgets and they're going to be hidden, they're really tiny, plugged in, so you don't need batteries. And then you train it with the remote so it can replicate the signal. And then when it detects the humidity high, it turns it on. And when it detects it fall below a certain level, it turns it off. And it just like you program it once, and then it's just keeping your house from molding, like basically at
oh, I
least
love
those rooms.
that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm definitely getting that because heading into rainy season, I don't know what will happen with bookings in the next couple of months. So that will be very handy.
Yeah, I had a friend in Burley. He was going back to America for 3 weeks, and he bought a couple of them because he just wanted like he didn't want to come back to a house of mold.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. And like usually the AC units have just a thermostat, but thermostat's not a gauge of humidity always. Like, sure, it's like correlated, but like you could have like cold and damp, cold and still damp.
From Melbourne, yeah, our
Yeah,
humidity is always an issue, and it will be
yeah,
very cold. So, no,
yeah.
definitely, I will be looking into that.
Sylvia, do you have any other questions?
I, so, Emma, you've got 2 children, is that right?
Mm.
Yeah.
And you have a full-time job?
Yes, I've just gone back, so I do now. Yes,
And you also run the Airbnb.
yes. We'll see how
Wow.
long I do that. Yeah, definitely a lot. Those systems, I think having, because we set it up in May, I've been on mat leave, so I've only just recently gone back to work. But having that good 6 months going through all the sort of ups and downs and a lot of the learnings has been really good. So I feel a lot more confident now that I don't have to be all hands in. Even things I've started like PriceLabs for sort of
Oh
pricing
yeah.
too, yeah, which has been really good because I was just doing that on my own and I have definitely don't have time for that anymore. Um, so it does all the research for me. So yeah, having those systems in place definitely helps and having that lead in time. I think if I was working, had the kids, and then started the Airbnb, it would have been a really tricky process.
Mm.
Are there co-hosts up there?
Yeah, there definitely are. And there are a lot of, so I did look into different management companies initially because I just wasn't sure how I would go about it and just how it would be. But looking into it, a lot of them kind of said no
Oh wow.
because, yeah, which is crazy because you're obviously going to give them a percentage. Most of them ask
Hmm.
for 20+% of your earnings. But I think a lot of them said no because they weren't confident in getting bookings in the low seasons. So they said guaranteed we can, which is the easy time from June to sort of September, you'll be booked. But outside of that, they were like, yeah, not sure it's really competitive. So they just weren't really interested, which was a bit scary
I've
to be
heard of
honest.
that.
Oh
I've heard of
wow.
Yeah,
that in the northern beaches of Sydney, where co-hosts have just said, no, it's too seasonal. You know, the amount of
Mm.
work that we put into it, and we don't earn enough money.
yeah.
Mm.
But we've been
So,
completely booked too. So
so
You
they
show
part of me
missed
is
them.
out.
like, well, yeah, you could have had my 20%, but it's just in my pocket now. So, but look, it's still early days, so we'll see what happens when we get a full
Mhm.
year under our belt. But we're
Do you,
we've got a couple months of the worst of it ahead, and then it's kind of back into that sort of busier time, which is good.
you're coming into the peak time. Mm.
Yeah,
And do you think you'll be using the property for your own holidays? And
yeah,
how often?
we've been up a couple of times, so we're obviously there to set it up. We went back for 1 week in December. Again, it was more just to see how it all stood up after having such an influx of people. So yeah, just wear and tear. Like our cleaner's onto it, but it's nice to see with your own eyes, and especially not seeing it every clean. Because I'm a bit pedantic, so I would notice. And everything was actually, I was really surprised with how well everything held up. Yeah, she just does cleaning in the area. I think she does a lot of Airbnbs, and she was recommended. I actually found her through a Facebook group for cleaners in Cairns. But funnily, I also spoke to my husband's family who live up there and said, like, who do you use for cleaning? And it was her. So it all kind of worked out. So it was nice to have found someone. And I had sort of already been speaking to her and formed a bit of a relationship. And then being reaffirmed by them that that's who they use and she's really good. And yeah, we can go from there.
Mm. Have you ever thought if she should say be sick, what would you do?
So she normally has other people that would help. So there's been
Okay.
times where she's been overbooked or something's happened. So she'll either have family or someone that will sort of sub in for her.
So she's got
I
a
also
company.
have, yeah, I think she sort of like subcontracts other people
Mm.
under her from my
Mm.
understanding. But then we also have another cleaner. I've only used her twice that she can do weekends too. So we have a few options here and there if we really got stuck.
You've got backup, yes.
Yes, but in saying that, we are heavily reliant on her because she's our go-to, and she does all the linen washing, and so she kind of does everything through her. So yeah, definitely mindful of that. But she communicates really well and seems to have her own systems in place too. So if things go wrong, she's not going to let all these sort of properties down either. So yeah, we've been really lucky.
And has it proven to be what you expected after 7 months?
I think it really has been better than expected, honestly.
Great.
I really thought, I was like, yeah, June, July, August, okay. And then I thought it would just drop, especially after the management sort of info. But the fact that we've sort of continued to get bookings, because the main goal for us is to, yes, create these great experiences for people. I work in events, and so I think a lot of that is tied together. The
yes.
experience that people have, like you step into an event, you step into a property, what are you seeing, feeling, all that kind of experience stuff. Yeah, we're really passionate about it, so that really helps too. Yeah.
But was there anything else you want to talk about, Emma?
No, I think that's plenty. Like I said, we're very new, so it's fun to share our short experience with you both.
Well,
has
Emma,
there been an interesting guest experience?
I'm trying to think. Like, we've had a few funny, just how people use the space or how people leave.
Do they move your furniture?
I've had a couple of people just, have things everywhere, and my cleaner just sends photos like, not sure what was going on here. And like little damages, but it's honestly been nothing too crazy. And that was my biggest fear, to be honest, because I think when you're renting something out that you plan to use, so like we said, we were there for a month, we went in December, we booked back to go there in May. So we do plan to go once or twice a year. Like, you really love it almost in a different way because you spend time there. We have so many memories there. Like in May, my baby was only 6 months old and all those little things. So to welcome people into that space was really scary. I was like, oh, please don't ruin this thing that we created for our family that we love so much. And people never treat it exactly the same as you will. But I think making everything durable and having all that sort of set and in place has really helped make maintenance easy, less likely to damage, and also sharing that story of like, we're new and we're a family and we really care. Yeah, I think people have been a bit more sympathetic and understanding of that. So, and it also opens that communication up too.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your story, Emma.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Emma.
Thank you. Lovely to meet you both.